Which fictional universe would actually be awful to live in? Warhammer 40k wins by a mile. The vast majority of the universe is a complete hellhole. Even the normal human worlds are depressing, polluted, slave-driving, disease-riddled, etc. There is only war. Obligatory RIP my inbox. Video link for those poor souls who aren't familiar with the universe. YouTube link. 40k universe is just awful. Everyone sucks and everything is crap. There are no good guys. I have only passing familiarity with the setting, but I'm told that the Tau are considered hopelessly naive because of their surrender or die policy. Nobody else gives the option to surrender. Even if you do surrender to them, you have to abandon your culture and take your right place at the bottom of their caste-based society. Not as bad as some other factions, but still bad. I can't count all the factions in 40k that can actually win just by being allowed to surrender. Basically life sucks, there's only war and you're probably going to be eaten by tyrannids. Have fun. Total biscuit. Warhammer 40k may have the distinctly unique quirk as being immeasurably popular because of the lore, setting, and pure cool factor, yet a universe no one in the fandom would ever want to visit. Summed up pretty great. Laughing my butt off, Dan Abnett did a 45-ish min interview with Ars Technica and this came up. He vehemently went it's intentionally made to be the most awful universe imaginable. It's a brilliant mix of Paradise Lost, Dune, Tolkien, a fistful of Datura seeds, extremely sarcastic satire of the 1980s industrial decline in the UK, acid, battery acid, Jungian psychology, Moorcock, dog Latin, badly remembered A-level history, historical misconceptions about the Spanish Inquisition, and many incompatible headcanons. It's a fantastic setting, but I can't think of anywhere worse to actually live. Except Luton. I barely know anything about 40k, but my friend explained a little bit of it to me once and I completely agree. He mentioned something about sadistic space elves that torture people for fun? Here are some videos explaining the Warhammer 40k universe and their factions. Spoiler alert, they're all terrible. But the Dark Eldar, the Space Dark Elves, are extra effing terrible. Web link. Yeah, it's not even a question. The arguably most moral society in 40k is the brainwashing space communists who would be the evil empire on their own in most other sci-fi stories. I think the best way I've heard to describe just how terrible 40k's universe is, there is a god of hope, and he's evil. Orcs are the only ones having a good time. The Power Ranger universe. Having a normal day and suddenly you're trapped in a giant pizza by a monster. Then a bunch of spandex-clad teenagers shoot lasers and a giant robot shows up that wrecks the entire downtown for the third time this month. I mean, that's just a normal day in Japan. There was a really fun little game for 3DS called Attack of the Friday Monsters, which is basically about a kid in 70s Japan who ends up seeing real-life aliens attack a town while filming a tokusatsu show. It plays with a lot of those tropes. Really any world with superhero-s. The everyday lives of the average Joe is dependent on a few powerful beings and there's probably constant violence. Always thought it would suck to live in Gotham. In Dark Knight Rises, the president calls Gotham our greatest city or something like that, and I'm like, no it is not. They have to deal with some lunatic every other week taking the whole city hostage or drugging an entire island of people and criminals, blowing up hospitals, and causing millions of dollars in property damage. I mean, to be fair, real-life politicians will call whatever city they are in the greatest city. It's a kiss butt, not a statement on the objective togetherness of a place. Watch The Boys, if you haven't. It basically shows us how the lives of the everyday Joe are affected by the actions of super beings. She was a half step off the effing curb. Username checks out. I really liked The Boys because it answered a long-standing debate amongst my group of friends. Why would anybody assume superheroes would be moral, upright people? That debate was always about why wouldn't those men just take over? Why sit around and let things like Sentinels get built? I always argued if I had infinite power I'd use it to fix the world's problems. Honestly, the most pragmatic thing Xavier could have done is use his machine to basically hack the minds of world leaders. He could have induced world peace. The best thing say Superman could do for humanity is probably run on an enormous generator to meet the world's power needs and avoid effing up the environment. In all seriousness though, no sane society would allow an exclusive cast of magical beings to serve as judge, jury, and executioner. You can bet that whatever country can capture them first is going to get busy with the Manhattan Project to understand and reproduce those phenomena, and rightly so. After watching, I have to say, Invincible. There was so much destruction and graphic shots of civilians dying in the city. Just live in Canada and you'll be fine. We never get affected by alien invasions, monster attacks, and those things. Let's just say you should never take the subway in the Invincible universe. Berserk demons want to rape you. R.I.P. Kentaro Miura. Also, Casca was one of the strongest characters out there, and look what happened to her. Guts' childhood was absolutely traumatic. The world of GTA would be terrible to live in. You'll have to live in constant fear of the maniacal psychopath who may or may not shoot you, run over you, or just straight up assault you. On the bright side, it's impossible to actually die unless the plot demands it. Try exploding your family with a grenade launcher as Michael if you don't believe me. And all medical care can completely cure all ailments and costs at most $5,000, and is even less if you can't afford that. The downside is getting shot in the face probably still hurts like hell, and there always seems to be some psychopaths that commit acts of domestic terrorism on a daily basis. Also, you can and will constantly have your car stolen. Candyland. The only thing to eat is candy, and you would eventually be too fat unless you worked out constantly. And I assume there would be no actual water there either. Imagine being a diabetic in Candyland. Everyone in Candyland is diabetic. Eventually. All the dystopian hellscapes in this thread, and you've picked the place where you'd have to eat too much candy. Pretty much all of them. The porn cinematic universe begs to differ. Pornhub snapped their fingers and removed half their videos. Now that's an Avenger-level threat. Bikini Bottom. Yeah, everyone would die in a few minutes unless we were turned into sea creature. Isn't it canon that Bikini Bottom isn't that deep? Like it's a quick swim, and at some parts it's knee-deep. Hear me out, the Ben 10 universe. For a show made for kids, it's actually very scary to live in. The Earth is constantly invaded by aliens, and there are bad guys that want to conquer or destroy the universe. The universe did in one episode get destroyed before being recreated. Frogman can literally destroy the planet by pressing a button, laughing my butt off. Silent Hill, Dark Souls, Doom, Fallout, Resident Evil. You'd probably be fine in the Re-universe or the Silent Hill universe, since most of the effed up stuff happens in pretty small areas of the world. Just chillin' in, like, Australia, and you'll be fine. Dead Space, Outlast, and Soma are bad ones too. I'd live in Fallout, but I'd rather live in Skyrim. Attack on Titan, most definitely. The war, the forced amnesia, constantly being at risk of being eaten by giant naked people, no thank you. Yeah, unless you have really good plot armor, you'd be dead within the first invasion. Even with good plot armor, you'd be dead in like 10 episodes. The Witcher. A Quiet Place. Pokémon. You have these animals with god-tier powers. Giant spiders that no doubt have eaten a lot of young trainers and their Pokémon. You send your kids out at 12 years old and you have to trust they won't eat eaten or preyed on by human predators. Mad scientists trying to create more godlike Pokémon. And a Pokémon named Mr. Mime will marry your mom if she's single and ready to mingle. Even ignoring the entire Pokémon thing, the Pokémon world still sucks. The Mafia/Yakuza is both very international and very powerful, and they seem to have no competition from either the police or other criminal groups. There's multiple criminal organizations that prey on the fact that the trainer lifestyle is extremely unfulfilling for most people and that a lot of young adults feel like they can't amount to anything if they're not strong Pokémon trainers. There are multiple cases of what seem like good organizations turning out to be downright evil and using their power to exploit people and Pokémon for their own goals rather than helping them like they lead everyone to believe. Justice seems to be vigilantism based and performed by either teenagers or sports stars. Professor isn't actually a job you have to earn a degree for. Exactly this. It seems really idyllic, but entire cities routinely get taken over by roaming gangs. There are ancient devices lying around that can destroy whole countries. Many ghost Pokémon either prey on humans or worse, we're humans that are now forced to spend their afterlife fighting other Pokémon at the behest of a trainer, and so on. And chances are, if you are a trainer, you just spend your days standing in the grass waiting for some kid to walk past you and kick the crap out of your terrible Pokémon. Doom. Ooh. Definitely chaos walking. A planet where every tiny thought of men and animals is blasted on display and you're plunged into wars because a tyrant and terrorist decided to take control and then the native species also hates you for invading their planet and enslaving their kind. I'm going to say The Handmaid's Tale. That country spent all their resources and time creating extensively branded torture infrastructure and getting nothing else done. Yeah, if The Handmaid's Tale came to life, I'd probably end up shoveling nuclear waste. That doesn't sound like the life for me. Probably an obvious one, but the Marvel or DC universes imagine just effing waking up and a goddamn superhero used your car as a weapon. Also, your workplace probably was destroyed, and your wife is horribly maimed because she didn't get out of the supermarket in time. Pokémon seems cool, but these are wild animals with elemental powers. I'd hate to be home and suddenly two behemoths of Pokémon decided to duke it out in front of where I'm at. Free healthcare though, so maybe it's not all too bad. Living in the Danganronpa universe would be hell. Just living your life and some bored butt bitch who wanted to cause chaos destroys your economy within weeks, and probably kills your family. Warhammer 40k. It's so bad that it shows up twice in this thread. Fallout. If you survive the bombs, then you have to survive radiation, monsters, lack of food or water. And then other people want to kill you. It would probably be pretty rare to actually make it to adulthood. I love both Skyrim and Fallout and would love to live in those worlds, but there's so much that wants to kill and eat you, and in Fallout in particular the hygiene would suck. I'd argue the people of Skyrim are cleaner. They can bathe in freshwater rivers/lakes and I've seen plenty of toilets. Okay, buckets. The Walking Dead. I mean, I would be one of those crappy zombies. SCP. http://cpwiki.wiki.com/ Here is the entry page for all the different entities. Link for anyone that wants to read the stories and entries. Web link. Especially considering the fact that there is no canon. Mad Max. The Purge would suck for people with social anxiety. Like, you spend all year knowing that people will see you as aloof or standoffish, and that will probably be a death sentence once the Purge comes around. I never got what the people were doing. Everyone would be better if one large group would form, then almost everything they would do would have way bigger chance of success and no one would kill anyone since they are all in the same group. That is the far more realistic option. Humans are biologically predators. Predators group up in packs to maximize hunting efficiency and protect against other predators. It's literally human nature. Not only that, but the whole universe makes no sense. Like, people can do anything they want. So they go kill random hobos and neighbors? People would be robbing banks en masse. There would be a billion-dollar industry around purge-proofing a building to the point where a tank is necessary to get in. Who are these idiots that are like, oh, the Purge is in 5 minutes, let's start a family movie and I'll check the doors during the bathroom break? The idea itself that people would just start and stop crimes as the clock rings is idiotic. Crap would be going to hell for weeks before the event as social services prepared to take a break. The amount of people that would storm millionaires' and billionaires' mansions or government buildings is astronomical. There is really so much more. Sorry for the rant, but it's just such a lazy, ripped-off idea that is also done really poorly. I get so bitter that these movies make money. Plus, most people don't have the desire to murder randoms. And a lot of those who do would probably get taken out during the purge by people defending themselves. Being the aggressor really wouldn't be an optimal strategy in there. So murder probably wouldn't be as common in the purge as people think. Is 1984 too on the nose? Star Wars. Navigating just the political turmoil alone would give anyone a full head of gray about 30 years too early. A. Most people wouldn't have much contact with galactic politics. The quality of life would depend on which planet you find yourself on. A good chunk of them would be a better place to live than Earth. The darkest timeline. Dora the Explorer. Okay, let's face it, she does not use her eyes, I hate her. Harry Potter. Let's have a school next to a forest known for killing people. A literally death tree at the entrance of the school that can easily kill people. Also, let's learn some potions and spells that literally killed some of your classmates' parents. I could go on. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.